Hello and welcome back to the channel where we are building a video game from scratch using Love2d and Lua. So yesterday we're working on getting our dialogue system for our signs here to print up different pages of text, which we are successful at. So if we give X amount of characters as the text argument to a dialogue box in the signpost, it'll print out whatever string we give it, one page at a time, maxing out at 57 characters per page. So the next step of this is to not cut off any full words. So if we were to come in here and look at our argument here, let's just duplicate this and try with a sentence, and I'll show you what is needing to happen. So like this is a test sentence where we can see that the words can be cut off from one page to the next. So let's see what happens here. Yep. Oh, and you know what? So look, this is a test sentence where we can see that the and be cut off from one page to the next. And be cut off. And be cut off. Yeah. So like these words, the words in CA ended up getting cut off and printing below the first page. So I think what's happening here, if we were to scoot up the X or the Y position of this text dialogue, we would see that the words with the C for the can be cut off from one word to the next, it would print up down here. So it's knowing that, hey, their text index, we're printing up 57 characters, but those 57 characters end up being wrapped to the next line, which actually, I was thinking that this couldn't happen because of the monospace font, but it is looking like maybe, yeah, I thought that the monospace font would prevent this, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Let's test here if we can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Looks like we've got 19 characters per line, so this all the way through 9 would be 1. And then 19 characters, let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So I put some spaces in there, and I'll just end the 19th on the second line with a number. I just want to see, they should line up perfectly because of the monospace. Oh, see, look, it looks like, I mean, maybe I miscounted here. 19. Yeah, it looks like I just miscounted there. Or the space on the 9, is there a space on the 9 to the 1? Oh. See, it didn't count this space. In our text, there's a space right here after the 9, but it looks like the printf ignored that space. So I don't know, I guess we just got to do some testing, because it looks like I did count right in that this should have been the 19th character. It's just that there was a space right here, so it ignored it. So like if we were to take out the 8, 9, and 1 and just put spaces instead of those, I'm thinking it'll just cut out those spaces on the next line. As soon as it wraps next line, the next one will be all the way to the left. Yeah. Well, it has some of the spaces. Yeah, see, so it kept one space there because there was one space on the 19th character, but then it got rid of all the other spaces up to the next line. So I think we're just going to have to take it one line at a time. See, and this is what we ran into before. It's nice for us to be able to just pass in this string as the printf for this signpost class because it does the auto wrapping. But we can't rely on the auto wrapping because of a situation like this where we need to choose. Well, I guess there's two ways we can go about it. We can go and say, I'm trying to think of how we can do this. I think the move is, as we're appending the next character of every dialogue, we have to ask and say, if adding all of the characters up until the next word would put us over the page limit of 57 characters, then we need to not add that word here. We need to add it to the next page of dialogue. But that's easier said than done, right? Because we don't know what the end of the word is. So it's almost like once we find the beginning of a word, we have to iterate quickly through until we find a space, so we get the length of the word. Then we have a count of, okay, we need a line count to say, okay, well, if the word count plus the current line count is greater than the 19 character limit per line, we can either, let's see if we can figure it out on the per page basis first, and then we can determine if I don't think we can do it per line without taking away our printf altogether. We'd have to write our own printf to kind of loop the lines, which we already tried and failed at, but I'm sure we could figure it out. It's just like I'm trying to balance how much stuff I have to do trying to get the game done, right? So let's see if we can get the page working. The words not being cut off on the page. So it's a little weird that it cut off. It is weird that the example text got cut off, even though I think it was 57 characters. We shouldn't be printing up more than 57 characters per line. So this one confuses me. Let's see here. This is going to be a little annoying because by the time... Okay, so it looks like... Oh, okay, I see the issue here. There is a total of 57 character widths apart, but it doesn't count as far as the text is concerned. If, let's say, this is the 10th character, there's an 11th character that's a space, and then there's a 12th character that's this S for the next word, but it can't fit up here. So by the time it loops this, we're losing out on like 8 of these, or whatever doesn't fit on the current line. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so this is a very tough thing because we can't decide when to loop. Okay, so I think the move is we have to keep track. Oh my gosh, because I think the move is we have to get rid of our printf, and we have to manually advance the lines, because there's no way using the printf we can tell which character this E in sentence would be, because this would be, say, the 30th character, but in terms of the line, there's 19 here, and then there's 8 to get here, which is way longer than that 13th character. We don't know when the line wraps, so that we can keep an accurate count of where this is, so that we can determine if the end of a word would be off the line 3 here. So I think we do need to... Oh my gosh. I think we do need to figure out our own way of doing this wrap, which shouldn't be that hard. I just know we already failed at it, so it's tough. And this one was working, but it doesn't scale out, so we have to do it ourselves. So I guess the move is, we do one line at a time, right? And we have a current line index, or whatever we call it, for the character. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we ask at the beginning of every word, we have to kind of, anytime we find a new word, we have to go, okay, remember the current index, count how many until you find a space. That's our word count. Add the word count to the current index space if that's greater than 19, which is our line length. Then we need to advance our line. And then if by the time we're on line 3 and we have a line advance, then we know that that's the part of the string that needs to be carried over to the second page. Okay. Yeah. It's just I wanted this one to work out because you just put it in a printf and it handles the looping, but we can't count how many characters this way, because by the time a word doesn't fit, we're missing some of those character counts from one line to the next. So I don't see any other way than doing it manually at this point. So we'll have to figure it out. Okay. So one of the tricky things is to get, I don't know how we would even do it, because we have a ambiguous amount of text allowed as a parameter. So we don't know how many total page lengths our character is anymore, because we can't just math.ceil the text length over the max text box length, because depending on the wrapping of the character, we could have much more, and we would have much more pages given a certain text. So this isn't as easy anymore, but maybe we can parse out. As soon as we get the text, we parse out how many pages of text there is based on doing these loops and populating a table. So is the move... yeah, it's a lot because there's a lot of moving parts, because every page would have 3 lines, and every line would have... We have to keep track of the word count and the current line count and the total. We have to do the substring so that we can print it one character at a time. There's a lot going on here. So how would we break it down? I mean, we would just break it down one line at a time, right? Like, the print function changes massively too, because right now all we're doing is saying, okay, go ahead and print the result. But now, we're going to have 3 lines. And they need to print out only when the previous line is finished printing out. So this is going to be much harder, but it'll fix that issue of, I don't like how right now, if the word is printing one character at a time, it doesn't loop to the next line until it doesn't fit on that line, and then it moves to the next line. And I didn't like how that looked, because it would start printing it and then it would move it to the next line, and I didn't like that. So this method would at least fix that. We just have to figure it out. So I think we need, we do already have a pages and current page table holding the text string of whatever's on the current page. It's just that we need to split that up even further into current lines, right? So every page would have 3 lines, and every page is a different set of 3 lines worth of characters to print up one at a time, only printing up once the previous line is finished. And we don't have page length just yet. We have to calculate that as we know how many words and what type of words with spaces line up with what on which lines. So we have to recalculate page length somehow. I guess the first move is if we have another table inside our pages at current page, at current line in the current page, if we have a table of 3 lines inside there, can we get our text to go 1 line at a time, 1 character at a time, only advancing when the previous line is done? I think that's the first step, and then we can worry about populating those tables with the correct strings depending on the word length and character line limit for each line. Yeah. I might have to do like a little tiny commit before it hits midnight so that we can keep our green box for the day. But we'll see. So I think I like this idea. Seeing this is wrong. For every page in our page length, we're going to insert a string that is... This is what we did yesterday, and this just adds a substring. So like it would, on the first page, you'd put the first 57 characters, second page would take the second 57 characters, and so forth. But we need to do this different. So let's, for right now, let's just say, see, and this is tricky because we don't know how many pages to add until we count which words fit on which lines and how many total lines there are. So maybe we have something like a total line count. Because like once we calculate the total line count, we can determine what the page length is. And the page length would just be whatever the total line count is divided by 3, and then rounded up. Is that right? Total line count divided by 3 rounded up. That's not what I wanted. For example, if we have a total of 3 lines, right? 3 lines of text, we would divide that by 3. That gives us 1 for a total page length of 1. Then if we go and there's 6 lines, we divide by 3, that gives us 2. And then if we have 7 lines, that would be 2 pages and 1 line, so it should be rounded up to a 3. So 7 divided by 3 would be 6 and some change, and we round up to 7 for a total line count of 7. So let's do a round up. And this way we can kind of assume, okay, we haven't calculated the total line count yet because we aren't counting the characters and what fits on what line yet, but we can give it a test string that we know that should be 3 lines so that we get the correct page length when we go and put in these test strings. So now we can loop through our page length now, and we can say, let's go ahead and go into our pages at index I. That'll be effectively our current page, but we need to insert an empty table in each of those current pages so that we can then put an index of 3 different strings for lines. So like once we have the page count, I think we can say, I don't know how we would do this. All I'm wanting to do is here, let's just write this out. So like, let's say our self.pages, we're on our current page of 1, so our first page, then the empty table we're putting in there right now is supposed to hold a current line index that has a string. So like this is line 1 of pages 1, line 1, and then pages 2, no, this would be pages 1, line 2, and this would be line 2. You know, like, and then, you know, we have to populate these strings based on the actual text parameter we pass in, but we just need to figure out how to get these lines printing one at a time now that we're not using the printf. So if our pages at index 1, or if our page 1, you know, we'd have to give ourselves yeah, I guess the parameter text we give doesn't matter just yet, because we're just trying to see if we can print these lines up one at a time here. So we have our lines generated. They're in the current page table. So now let's try to see if we can print up one at a time here. So instead of doing the old method where we are just doing this, let's just comment this out real quick. So we used to just say we have a result string and we append one character at a time, and we increment which character index we add, reset our text timer so we get one at a time. Once it passes the text timer time threshold, and then we went out here and we just printed the self results. So we have to have, we need to know which line we're trying to print, and then print the next line as the previous line finishes. So we need to get, oh, we've got 3 minutes. I'll commit real quick so we don't miss our green dot for the day. I'm just gonna check. Looks about right. So like, I'll just say setting the stage for individual line printing in dialog system, just so we can hit our green box quota for the day on GitHub. Okay. I'm trying to think if we can get away with not doing 3 lines. I think we have to do 3 lines, because we run into the same problem of we don't know which. Well, okay, if we instead don't have 3 lines, but we have a I think we could get away with not doing 3 lines at a time, but we just have a Y position that gets incremented whenever we trigger a new line, and we have like a current line count that triggers which line we're printing. And if we trigger a new line on line 3, we know we need to just append that string to the next page. And that would all be done before we print it. That would be done in the init here, I think. Man, it's tough. I'm thinking I don't want to go in the separate line route. Like, I don't want to extract them into different tables. I think if we do the math correctly on the init, we can have the correct amount of text that is supposed to be printed And then maybe when we're printing it, how would we do that? Once we're printing it, how would we know which text is supposed to be moved to the next line? We wouldn't know. Yeah, we wouldn't know. I think we do have to do 3 lines. Okay. Well, let's give it a shot. I mean, I know I'm just a little like intimidated, I guess, because we already tried this and failed miserably. So we'll try it again. We've got a string saved in our current page at an index 1 called this is line 1. So how do we print just this up? Well, we need to keep track of which line we're at. So we need like a line count, not a current line count, or like a total line count. We don't have line count, so we can just add a line count here. And that's what line we're on. By default is we're printing up the first line. It should be maxed out to 3. So right here, we're still going to do the text timer and the next text trigger. It's probably going to be different than this character length because we're not looping it. Yeah, we're going to be doing, we can continue on. That we can get rid of that once we parse out the correct strings for the correct lines. But let's say let's just use our result again. Well, we need 3 different results, right? Like we need line 1. Let's say line 1 result or something. Because depending on which line we're on, depending on which line count we're on. Hey, thanks, Riff Cookie. Thanks, dude. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I was hoping I could get away with just the printf, but we can't do it. We got to do it the manual way. But it should work out. The times I feel like I have no idea where to even start is hard to wrap my head around, but I think I'm tracking with it. So we need like a line 1 result. Yeah, let's do this. So instead of just an empty result string, we'll have result string for every line. Oh, not line count. Line 1 result gets an empty string. Sweet. Okay. So now we just need to... We ultimately need to print up the whole result, but we only need to append 1 character at a time for as long as whatever line count we're on. That's what this will do. So if our line count is equal to 1, then we're going to be doing our appending to line 1 result logic. And that would look like we take our line 1 result and we're going to concatenate. It starts as an empty string, and we're going to add, for right now, we're going to go to our pages at index 1. Yeah, let's see, because right here we're saying go to our current page, and our current page holds the whole string. So I think we need to go into our index 1 of our current page that holds our whole string of this is line 1 text, and we do a substring of that. And we give it a substring with 2 arguments. Both arguments are the same. It's text index, and the 2 same arguments says just give me the single substring character at the text index, which starts at 1, goes all the way through. That's how we get 1 at a time, because we're only adding 1 character at a time with the ... concatenating to the result string 1 character at a time, because we increase our text index after we append 1 character to the line. Then we reset our timer so that we can print the next text after the given time threshold. So right now we should have, and it's self.line count. Okay, so if we're on line count 1, which we initialized to be right there, we'd have to manually update our line count once we've printed up all of the characters, but let's just see if we can get the first line 1 at a time. So line 1 result should be correct at this point. So now we just need to print it up. So instead of printing up our self result, we'll ask, and we'll have to do this based on the line count, but we'll say, let's do our line 1 result, and we'll do it at the same location here. Screen height limit -38, and then we left justify it. And then the virtual width -5 is the limit, but I think we can get away with not print f, because we don't want the looping anymore. So we just want the x and y, and that's it. I believe we don't need printf anymore. Let's see if we get line 1 printing. It should say this is line 1. Yes. Okay. We've got line 1. Oh, and then it's concatenating. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense it would do that. Because we're not resetting our line 1 result upon becoming no longer paused. So we would have to come in here and we'd have to flush our line 1 result back to empty, as well as our text index. Well, this is false. If P is pressed and we're on our page length, we're going to be no longer... Okay, let's see if the line 1, flushing the line 1 result resets it here. This is line 1. This is line 1. This, oh my god, we're getting that weird shit again, where it puts, sometimes it puts, yeah, see, like this. I think the fix for that was we just make sure our text index gets flushed. Nope, that didn't fix it. Why does it do that? Why does it do that? Text index. I thought in our play state that we had fixed this already. When we do text index. Yeah, I thought this line fixed it. Once we... Yeah, as soon as we collide with something... Oh, we might need to flush the string here. Let's say that this is line 1 result here. See if that helps us out. Okay. I don't see it messing up anymore like that. Okay. Okay. Let's assume that's it. And then we don't have to flush our index or our line result, because we do it upon the collision. Upon the P press to trigger the text box, we flush it. So we don't need to do it upon the ending of it, where we unpause it. Okay. So if there's our line 1, we need a way to print all the lines at once. Well, if they're all printed, if they're all done printing, we need to print all the lines at once. But we only need to print line 2 as long as line 1 is finishing being printed, which we could figure out if we have a total character count, and then we have a line count, and if our and not a line count, a line character count. Oh my god. Like a line 1 character count. If our line 1 character count passes how many characters there are in line 1, you know, if we're done printing all of the characters in line 1, then we would go ahead and become line count 2 and then start appending line count 2. So this is basically the same, right? Where we say, okay, well, if we're line count 2, then let's go ahead and append to our line 2 result that string from line 2 of the current page. And then this is going to get jacked up. Oh god. Yeah, this is going to get jacked up because we're reusing values. Well, oh god. I think oh my god. Let's do this. Let's oh yeah, okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna snag the length of line 1, and we're gonna say, oh god, because we have multiple pages, so we have different lengths for each page we're on, for each line we're on. So we can do, oh my god, we can, so right here at index 1-1, that would be the literal string that line 1 is, but then we can have a table, a field called line or character count. Character count is going to get the length of characters in our current page that we're at. Okay, so now we have a character count. I'm assuming we snagged that right, but let's say if our text index is greater than or equal to that character count, we would then become line count 2, and then we would start appending line 2 results. So we can say if our text index is greater than or equal to our self dot, and then this would be pages at current page, but right now we're just hard coding in. Man, this is crazy. If our text index is bigger than our character count for the current page we're on, then we're gonna take our line count and assign it to be the next line, which is 2. And then we need to print up line 2 result. Now, the beauty of this is that we should be able to just always print. We should be able to print up line 1 result and line 2 result and line 3 result all at once, all at the same time. It's just that they start as an empty string and they only get appended once they get triggered, once the previous line is finished. So we need to figure out the Y for this, which is maybe 8 pixels lower. I don't know. We'll see if it even kind of works. 22, 20. We crashed at line 20 here. Oh, I didn't like this. Character count, number of self pages. Okay, yeah, we need to count. God damn it. It didn't like this. What did it say it? What did it didn't index a string value. Okay. Okay, for right now, you know, we won't worry about trying to do that in one line. Let's just say that this is 4, 5, 6, 7. God damn it. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 is the character count for line 1. You know, we'll hard code it just to see if we can even do this. Then we'll worry about systematically doing it. What are you talking about? You're trying to index a string value. We can't. Oh, fuck, man. Yeah, the string value. Yeah, you're right. The interpreter's right. Okay, well, we can say string. This is line 1, and then character count is 14. So when we go to append, we need to go into the string field, and then we should be able to go into the character count field here. And then when we go to this one, we need to also go into the string field. And then when we print, oh, that should be okay. Let's see. Son of a signpost 19. Index and nil value. Okay, well, let's say we have an index, an empty table at index I, and then we have what in that table we have a dot string that we set to be equal to an empty string, and we set a dot character count. Oh. Yeah, this needs to be a table. So we need to put, oh my god. Okay, so pages is a table that holds a page. What is a page? A page is 3 lines of text. So pages index 1 would be page 1, but then we have a 2D array so that the first of the index is the first line of the array. So we need a table. What do we need? We need a table inside the second array so that we can add a field to it. Attempt to index a nil value on 19. Okay. Let me just see if we can just say that, hey, the string field. See, I don't think it likes that. I think we need to put an empty table into that line, and then we can say there's a dot string field in that table. I don't know. Okay, attempt to index field string and nil value on 73. String field. It didn't like the string in 1-2, which makes sense because we didn't put. Uh-oh. Yeah, we need to put a string field in line 2 here. This is nuts. This is nuts. We used to be able to just pass in the string to a printf, and most of this worked. Signpost 21 is hating us. Oh, yeah, we need... God dang it. Okay. Okay. Alright, we got it. It's chill. Under control. Totally. Oh? Line 2? I'm sure I'm overcomplicating it. I am just I don't know. There's a lot going on. We didn't reset our text index once we advanced the line. So we'll do that here. And then maybe we'll see line 1 and line 2. Okay. We didn't seed line 2, so this would have to be greater than the character count. Then we should have line 1, line 2. There we go. Let's just get this. Shouldn't go minus 30. It should go minus 27. Look at that. Okay, it didn't reset. That's okay. This is nuts. Okay, yeah. What is the better way of doing this? I mean, we need a individual character count. Yeah, iterate through each word until it crosses the end of a line. Yeah, move to next line. Don't need counts of anything. I think what's tricky is, yeah, we want to break up the string into, each individual line and page. I think what's tricky is I can't print the second line. Like when you're saying move, once you cross the end of a line, move to the next line. We can't move to the next line without breaking it up into multiple strings. Oh god. Because ideally, oh god, dude, the more I think I mean, you're not derailing, man. I mean, I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know how to do this. I get what you're saying. Like in my brain, that makes perfect sense to me. Like that's what I thought we can do. It's just that when I went to go try to implement it, I just ran into different things. Like we have to be able to print up the previous line and the next line, right? Like we have to print up line 1, line 2, and line 3, but we only need to append, like what you're saying, we say move to next line if we've hit that word threshold or whatever. Move to next line has to be a separate value, like a line 2 result or line 1 result, because it needs a different Y value. But then it also needs to know, it has to have a reference to the current line count, and because we don't know how many can fit on. That's the goal, is the init we're going to build the table. I'm just trying to give it a test string for now, just to see if we can, on render, that's the goal, is that on a init it just generates and it knows how many pages there are, it knows what line is on what page, and then can just blast through and render all the results. Render line 1 result, 2 result, and 3 result. It just gets really nasty when you look at it. Let's see, this is 5, so this would be minus 22. It gets nasty when you look up here, and it's like, oh, well, we give an empty table here to each line count so that we can put in 2 fields. I don't know, part of me thinks that we do need this, because we need to know in order to count how many pages we have, we need to know the contents of every, character as they're being typed on string, because depending where a word lands on the 19 character limit could prematurely shift that word to the next line. So potentially very few words could fit on 3 lines total, depending on where the word ended as it was being printed. Jesus. It's crazy. I mean, the goal here is to just learn, I guess if I get it done and I can make it work, I don't want to say we could just move on, but doing it poorly is the first step to doing it well in a lot of ways. Like when I'm teaching myself, it's like I got to figure out the weaknesses of my first attempt to kind of internalize how to do it better in the future. Let's see if we can get, we give our line 3 on our current page 1 an empty table so that we can give it a string field and a character count field. And then if our line count, if our text index here is greater than the line 2 character count. I totally get what you're saying. I know there's a better way to do this. I'm just, I don't know. It's tough to wrap my head around this. We're gonna take our line count to 3, reset our text index, and then make sure we flush our line 3 result as well as our line 2 result. And then we need to start appending our line 3 result here. And then the 2 should be a 3 here. Okay, if line count is 3, go ahead and append line 3 result. We should be rendering it. Let's check the reset here for the text index. Yeah, we need to flush all these. Okay, sweet. I jacked up the height on that. So right now, this doesn't do that word finding to determine what's on the line, but if we imagine we have that done, we've effectively got what our printf used to do, which is just print things on another line. We just have to manually sort what goes on what line. Let me see. This is nuts. Okay, so minus 22. Okay, so there is a 13 character difference. So 13 would be 654, 14. Okay, so there should be our lines 1 through 3. Okay, it's a little wrong. Line 2 needs to be down just a bit. Okay. Oh my god. Okay. This might be as far as I get tonight. I gotta work in the morning. Let's see if it fixes it. Oh shit. Okay, so this would mean that we're on a line count of 3 still, so we just need to reset our line count upon the triggering of the, like right here. Yeah, we need to trigger our line count. This is gross. This is gross. Gross. Oh, dang. Right. Well, it'll be cool once we get like talking to NPCs too. You know, that would be cool because then we can put, once the dialogue system's working, we can add dialogue box to a sign or to an ocean or to a NPC or whatever. So that'll be nice. But yeah, I think I'm going to wrap up here. Let's make sure it works upon a reset here. 1, 2, 3, and then we reset 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Okay. That'll be a good stopping point for tonight. We'll say we have printing 3 individual lines from a page. Yeah. Cool. Well, hey, thanks for hanging, Rough Cookie. Hope you have a good night. Hope you get some sleep. I'll catch you later, I'm sure. My class is finishing up this week, so I can maybe watch some of your streams because you've been streaming like right when my class is on, so I've been bummed out missing it. But yeah, dude, of course, always welcome for the stream. Thank you for streaming. We'll raid out here. We'll just raid out to Booyah Grandma. Right? Well, it's like I'm still trying to figure out when I should stream because it's kind of, I don't know. It's hard to stay consistent. Well, especially with class and stuff. But we'll see. I need to change my schedule too, get more consistent again. But thanks for watching, dude. Peace out. Peace out.